There, caption.
Okay, well, welcome to our overflow attendance and the treasurer training today. My name is Ed Terrell. I have the honor and the privilege of being the treasurer for the USA Council. Yeah, so the treasurer is a pretty important position. They're the go-to person for facts. When it comes to the membership roster, and making sure that Club Express is updated on a timely basis. I don't know whether that's a treasurer, it's the VP of membership. It's just important that it be current, and that the treasurer work with the VP of membership, the president, the entire board on why members quit. You can read the rest of this stuff on the slide. This is an overview of what's in the presentation, financial. We're going to drill down into these areas a little bit more. Jennifer, you can take pictures of the slide, but I believe this is all going to be available.
Okay.
Afterwards. This is being recorded, so we're going to have to behave ourselves here. We're going to drill into each one of these areas a little bit more as we go through. We'll spend a little bit of time on the tax return process, and we already talked a little bit about importance of maintaining the portal. These are the transactions that the treasurer has responsibility for. Obviously, we're as a member organization, no members, no margin, no mission, and so membership dues are I would guess for your clubs that's basically your revenue stream. Maybe some fundraising. We talked about that, Jennifer. But the treasurer is also, responsible for, making sure that expenses are paid and documented on a timely basis. Reconciliation of bank account, important. We've got highlighted here, last bullet, second sub bullet. Really important that, transitions take place, handoffs. Good handoffs are important in any organization, no matter what the size. And so it's always makes sense to have more than one person on a banking. So you're going to find instances where that hasn't been the case. So sounds like y'all are doing that. So that's terrific.
No, well, I'm not, because the former president would never come and sign, but the current one says she's going to someday.
Yeah. Well, just as long as you have two authorized signers.
Well, there aren't. Just me.
Well, you should. I would suggest.
I'm trying to get the president to come and be the second signer.
But you're talking about something different, not two signatures on the check.
I know.
Okay.
I know. On the account.
I know. People on the account.
I know, because the bank says one's good.
Pat, we've been saying many times during this leadership training. So you have a takeaway. You have a takeaway to take back with you.
Oh, okay.
To California, and that would be get somebody else on the bank account. I'm sure you have a long life ahead of you, and things are going to be great. But just in case. But these are the current dues, semi-annual. These dues, there was a small increase. I think about a 4 or 5% increase. It was effective January 1st of 2024. I was surprised to hear from. I think I heard John say that. This was the first time the dues were raised since 2011. I mean, should you think about that? John and his team, basically running this organization at the same level of revenue. Only increase would be from a membership perspective.
So when did it increase? Sorry, 20.
The first 24, January 1st of 24. We talked about 25. The dues remain this, and these are the dues, not your club dues.
Mm-hmm.
These are the dues that are paid to U.S. and international. And so they weren't not raised in 25, will stay the same for this year, 26. But this is something that I think we need to revisit more than once every 13 years.
Well, that's what I was going to comment on, that when they raised them, they said they would review it every 3 years. And being on the international board, we reviewed it this weekend, and we're not going to raise it.
This year, yeah.
So they won't.
The International had that discussion as well, it sounds like, right?
Yes.
So you were having the same discussion we were having, so we're on the same page.
We're not.
Good,
It's not necessary.
I'm glad that's recorded.
We, I just won't say. Let me try something here. Deductibility of dues. I get a question from time to time. Are membership dues, are they deductible?
They're not donations.
Well, they're not donations, but they actually are, to the extent you don't receive anything in exchange, tangible, anything tangible in exchange for the membership dues, then they actually can be deductible. It's not a black and white thing, but if you have a club that's, maybe collecting $400 a year and $300 is for meals, then, you could deduct $100. I did a Google search on this, and well, we won't go there.
What did it say?
What did it say?
Yes or no?
Yeah, let me show you how this is. Things can get tangled. So can you see can you see this here?
Yeah.
Membership dues partially tax deductible, but only to the extent that your payment exceeds the fair value. This was a Google search, AI enabled. It's kind of amazing. I don't know if you've gone out there recently, and even the emails are being summarized now for you. This AI is pervasive, and so it goes into. You can Google this and you get this kind of information. There's a $75 safe harbor, apparently. What is not deductible, I already mentioned. If you receive benefits equal or exceed the cost, then none of it is deductible. And you know what? I've drilled into this in the past, and to the extent these are just club meetings, these are intangible benefits, just like your church. You make donations to your church, you go to church service, and that's an intangible benefit. It's religious, and so.
So if your club dues include meals, then the meals part is not deductible.
Right.
The dues, the portion that would come to dues of 50 plus 20, that would be deductible.
Yeah.
What about the magazine one we received?
It's an insignificant deduction anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what it's people can interpret these things differently.
Right.
What I would say, $100 deduction on your tax return, that's not a big risk. But, individuals have to make their own decisions. I just, share that information. The reporting. Obviously, we should be reporting on income and disbursements at our meetings. You hear any special events. It's good that the treasurer report on the success of that event. The revenues and expenses of the event. I've heard Mike when he does his training, Mike Downey, that might be a good idea to provide a copy of the bank statement, just for kind of a trust but verify type of approach, because there's been some clubs that I've heard about. I don't have specific information, but that have, a bit rogue, and so they show a bank reconciliation with no bank statement to support, and that type of thing. Any donations received, I believe that based on the current IRS guidelines, you have to provide a letter for any donation above $250. It can be something as simple as, let me see, do I have that here? Just bear with me. That's the PowerPoint presentation. Let me find.
Yeah, that would be nice if you had a form letter that we.
Yeah, I've got one here, so
I think
just
there is one on the
bear with me.
club treasurer manual.
Oh, okay.
I think there's one in there, if I'm not
Look at that
mistaken.
again.
Yeah, here we go.
I have one that I use.
This is, I don't know if you can read that. I can read it. It's right in front
I
of
can
me.
read it.
But
Well, I'm right in front of it too. I got
it's something as simple as that. It's not, and it sounds like hell that there's a similar letter out there.
Yeah, I think there is. It might be the same one.
Shouldn't it be on letterhead or something?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's maybe not a good example.
The letterhead could just be as simple as getting the Serra
Realize
logo
that,
on there. I have a letterhead document that I use that just has the header area on the Word document with the logo and says the name of the club.
And mine does not say are deductible, it says it may be deductible.
That's a good idea.
And then
Check with your
something
tax
about check with your accountant.
You make a good point, Jerry, that it really is, deductibility is always up to the person
Yes, it
making
is.
the donation. It's not up to,
You're providing the
Club or the
information of a donation was made and you're a 501c3. And
no
you
goods,
take it from there.
and no goods and services were received.
Your name.
Period.
Just the facts.
I don't,
we have a golf outing.
Dragnet.
And some people sponsor trees. I didn't realize 250, but I just send them a letter and say, thank you for your donation. And I do put the tax ID number on it, but I don't really even tell them that anything about you can deduct it, not deduct it. I just tell them they can use that. I mean, I'm assuming they can use it because it has the letterhead on it.
I think the no goods or services is an important part of the letter. That's the key.
Well, and for them, that's true. There were no goods.
Right, but it's just a irrelevant question probably, but didn't you give them advertisement or some?
No, because
Not necessary.
it's not that big a deal. Well, when I first started doing the golf outing, there were more people than there are now. So no, I don't.
So
I don't give them
get a
advertising.
sign or?
There's nothing.
Interesting.
So no.
Yeah, so there's no good.
So they're simply donating to sponsor a priest or a deacon.
I do have a question. We had a donation from 401k to our club. Does it require a letter from our club back? Because when I make those,
Yeah.
I don't get a letter back, and I don't expect a letter back because it's gone directly to the charity.
Right. You're doing that through a donor advised fund,
Right,
one of those.
right.
Yeah, I'm not, I wish I was more familiar with that, Bruce, but, I think in that case, we're talking about if he makes a donation from his 401k account, and it sounds like that may be through a DAP, a donor advised fund.
No.
No,
it's separate. That's two separate things.
It's just a.
But neither one is deductible on your. So
There's no letter required then from the club to go
because
back.
they can't deduct it, whether it's from a 401k or from the donor advised fund.
Yeah.
Because if the donor advised fund, they've already deducted it.
Right.
And they put the money in
Yeah,
there.
so you can't.
And the 401k, you can't.
Okay, so we're not
pick it up as
obliged to
income, so
send
you
anything
can't.
back. It surprised us. It was a nice surprise that one of our
I've never even
members,
heard of that. Yeah.
sent a
But I
donation.
thought as an organization, we were still required to send a receipt. Doesn't matter what the source was, that's the taxpayer's issue of deciding whether it's deductible or not. But if it's over 250, no matter how we got it, we're supposed to send a receipt.
Well, but you have that.
But the receipt does not say it's tax deductible. The receipt just says it's an acknowledgement of a donation, and no goods or services were
You
received.
check with your advisor, but but a lot of those, the standard receipt would say, or the standard letter would say, we're a 501c3 and it's deductible.
Yeah, I
You
know.
have to be careful what you send, but there's no problem sending a receipt as long as you don't say it's tax deductible. Yeah, but I don't know that it's necessary. I never double check that.
Well,
I don't think it
know
is.
when I donate, it goes directly from the fund to the charity. It doesn't pass
So it
through
doesn't
me.
pass through your end.
So that's the whole reason I do that.
And I don't think you would need a receipt for that.
I don't think as a donor you need it.
No.
I'm not up to speed on the donor advised funds, but I think as you described it, when you transfer money into your donor advised fund, at that point in time, it becomes deductible.
That's correct.
And then you can control the timing of who you make that contribution or donation to. That's my understanding of the way
That is
that
correct.
works.
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly right.
Well-
Because you can't ever take that money out of there.
I see.
You
It's
cannot
it's
take it
gone.
out. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, every
Because you've
organization,
already,
every organization I make a donation to from my donor advice funds sends me a receipt at the end of the
I
year.
think that's.
yeah,
I
they
think-
send
every-
us.
And I would suggest that we do that. I think that's good to acknowledge.
They send at least a thank you.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yep. everyone
organization you
sends it.
gave it to.
I think
I
acknowledgement,
don't put it on my taxes, but
No.
everyone sends it.
it's good stewardship, I think, to
Some of them-
recognize donations.
Some of them put in there where it came from, so then of course you could, but others, you could if you weren't honest.
If you weren't honest.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you. Sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
good
question.
discussion. I think we're all, this was
I like
the value of getting together like this. This slide covers planning, budgeting, and guidance. I don't know what y'all do from a budgeting perspective. You know, these aren't large clubs, you know, they're important, but you know, there's not a lot of inflow and outflow here. And so whether or not you budget, if you do, that's great. You were just saying here, you know, the best source of what your budget is for the next year is how you're doing in the current year. And so, yeah, it's always a good starting point. We've already kind of covered that you should be the person that assists with, or if you're asked to assist, you know, in planning for Advent dinners, parties, fundraisers, because you have the expertise. And so, you know, that's the value that you add, being the treasurer of your clubs. Records retention. This says 5 years. Me personally, I keep 7 years. But you should have some record retention, at least 5 years. And, you know, maybe longer for certain events.
Just
So-
a comment on that,
Yes.
there's a nifty section of Club Express where you can save documents
Oh,
and then give access to the rest of your board. Now, do I think any of our board members have ever looked at it? No, but that's a permanent place. If I croak, you know, there's gonna be the financial records and nobody's gonna have to come and look at my file cabinet.
it's a nice archiving.
It-
As long as we're with Club Express.
Well.
That's what I was about to say.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all look like financial guys, and I'm a CPA, and well, Jennifer walked out of the room,
I'm glad that you said guys, cause I'm not.
and ladies, and
No, but I'm not a financial
oh,
I'm not a financial person.
person.
you know, CPA stands for it's an acronym for cut, paste, and assemble, and you know, there's a lot of truth to that. You know, we don't, you know, there's not a lot of original work coming out of a fair amount of the CPA work. And then I was visiting with Tim O'Neill. I think you all know Tim, former president of SI, and he said, Ed, that CPA stands for can't please anybody. So we had a long conversation about that. But anyways, let's keep going here. We kind of covered this. Keep it simple. Any corporation, you know, from my perspective, is really a big checkbook. It's inflows and outflows, and you know, she should be reporting on you know where the money's going at some level at your meetings and where it's coming from. Mostly membership dues. So I've seen all different tools that are used. Hal has a good approach. He has. It's more than an Excel spreadsheet.
QuickBooks.
Well, no, it's an Excel spreadsheet, but
but with
I have the
filtering. And stuff.
I have the register,
Mhm.
so I have all the transactions in there and coded to accounts.
Mhm.
And then I have the next page, and I put everything in there. And then the next page, it pulls over by account and month, you know, what the expenditures are, what the incomes are. It's a financial statement.
Mhm.
And then I have the cash balance at the beginning and end of each month and the inflows and outflows, just a summary. That's mostly it.
Yeah, and so that's, you know, that works for Hal and his club. Yeah, I don't know what y'all use, but Quicken,
Quicken.
QuickBooks. But, our recommendation has been to keep it simple, don't make it overly complicated unless you're a large club with, significant inflows and outflows and assets that you're trying to manage. Here are some tips. Some tips. Members paying annually is a lot easier than keeping track of it on a semi-annual basis, so encourage your members to do that.
Some of them won't.
What I do on that is I transition this over a couple of years. We used to say, pay full or half. And I started by saying full is preferred. Now I only ask for full. And I just have a statement in there that says, if you need to make other arrangements, contact me. Either I can't pay that much, or, I need to split it up, half, quarter, whatever. And I probably have, out of 120 people, I probably have one or two that does that. That's it.
Are your dues only
Our dues are
dues?
Our dues
$102
a
a year?
little bit over that. They're like 110, I think.
Yeah, so most of it flows back through to
Most of it goes
Most of it
directly
goes,
to
and
state.
so your
Oh, 'cause
your
I-
margin is going to be the spouses.
Yeah, so anything else we do, anything that involves food, people either just bring the food or we would charge for it. Things like Christmas gifts to seminarians, we have a separate collection for that. So anything else we do pretty much separately.
Mine
from dues.
includes food, so I do it quarterly.
Yeah, well,
But-
whatever works, for y'all.
I encourage them to pay 2 quarters at once if they'd like to.
This is a sample, and I think you're going to get these materials as a takeaway. Can you hear me all the way at the end of the table? Okay. This is a sample invoice that one of Mike Downey's treasurer sent, used to send. I don't know whether he still does. Things have evolved quite a bit since when this presentation was put together. There's a lot more technology that's available to us today. But the one thing I like here is in connection with, sending the invoices, reminding your members what you did and what those dues were used for. So I think that's a pretty good idea. So that's referenced here as 4A in the attachments. You may also want to include a request for special donations on membership invoices for things like gifts to seminarians, help with dues to the people that can't afford, that type of thing. Good idea that where you have special club events, a donation option to cover clergy meals. I know Hal does that because they invite the seminarians and priests to their Advent dinner in December of every year. So that's a pretty good idea. I haven't really heard too much about the second to the last bullet, bequest and estate plans or anything like that. I don't know if your clubs, if you've had any, big things like that have occurred. Not saying that you ought to be, professional fundraisers or anything like that. You're running your clubs. That's, and keep a key info backup notebook. I'm sure y'all are doing that. I'm afraid that if I try to click on this thing that seems to be covering up some things, I'm gonna lose my navigation.
There's gotta be a way to do that.
Yeah.
You could grab it and drag it to the right or left, and it'll.
Yeah.
The black part down
The
below.
The black
Down
down
below.
arrow at the top. Oh,
You just kind of.
There you go.
if you move it all
You
the
can
way to
even
the
do it to
side,
the far right. It should
should
go
go.
vertical. Well, it's not.
No,
Okay.
Now you've done it.
Good,
Well.
good idea.
I've made things work,
click that little up carrot in the bottom green banner. That'll minimize that. No,
The way at the
down,
bottom.
down.
Yeah.
Lower.
The bottom.
Right
here?
Right
there. Yeah,
there.
that one. There you
Oh,
Now
Okay.
try to drag it to the right.
go. You would think it would go vertical.
it's okay now.
Hit more.
And it'll be fine.
We're gonna live through this.
Yeah.
We got a lot of opinions, but
Okay.
none work.
Thank you for that input. That was really helpful. We moved it from the bottom to the top of the screen. Well done.
It's not hiding anywhere.
All right, nonprofit status. File the correct tax return every year. They're due, 15th day of the 5th month following the fiscal year. Large majority of the clubs, there's what's called an EO, exempt organization business master file, the EOBMF. And I had Giovanna in the Chicago office pull the file for me. This is a file of all the exempt organizations, and she basically wintered it down to just the Serra clubs. And what I saw in that file is a large majority of our clubs have May 31st year ends. Some December 31st, some others, but the large majority May 31st. So
October.
4.5 months after the end of the year, so October 15th. Important to do that.
Just a follow-up question with that.
Mhm.
Did you compare that list to the total list of clubs?
I did actually, and it didn't exactly match up. We keep hearing 191 clubs, and we're like 160 in the file.
So 30 don't have,
Yeah, and let me ask, are there any clubs, well, y'all's clubs, and your tax exempt status has been maintained, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not having to reinstate your club's tax exempt status. If you're aware of anybody that needs to do that, I can help them do that. I can help them figure out what they need to do. We'll talk about that a little bit more.
I did when I took over as treasurer a few years ago, but it's done now.
It's been through the IRS ringer.
The prior treasurer didn't help.
Yeah, God bless Bob Campney.
Yes.
Bob Campney did just an unbelievable job. There were, like, I'm going to say close to 100 clubs that had lost their tax exempt status. And Bob, through a process of working with the IRS, was able to get those clubs tax exempt status reinstated. And not only reinstated, but also getting the correct tax exempt classification. Most of our clubs fall under a group exemption, the Serra International Group Exemption. There's some that have their exemption on a standalone basis, but if it's under the group exemption, in some cases, the subcategory wasn't correct. And so with the subcategory now being correct, that's what allows us to file the 990N, the postcard return. We're going to go there in just a second. I think we're doing okay on time. Tell me if we're going too slow. You want me to speed up? I'm boring you. You make a good point here. There's sites that'll tell you we can do the 990N for you for a fee. You don't need any help. So who can file the 990N? Any club whose receipts are generally less than $50,000 a year, with assets less than $250,000, can file the 990N. And that word generally. So I mean, there may be a year where I don't know, you had something unusual, 65,000. But if generally less than 50,000, you can file the 990N. It is a very straightforward. You can attest to this, John. 10 minute process.
5 or 10.
It takes more time setting up the account with your username and password. I actually file, and I'll show you in a second. I filed the 990N for about 10 or 15 clubs. It just doesn't take that much time. The Bob Campney's guidance is and it's largely unchanged. I'm going to launch this in a second. Is right here. And he starts with option 1. Go to irs.gov. So we're gonna do that right now. We're gonna go to irs.gov. There's irs.gov. You can see that up here in the URL. Then I'm hovering over file, charities and nonprofits. I'm gonna click on that. And then I'm gonna click on this page, find filing forms. Okay, then I'm gonna scroll down. And you're gonna see annual electronic notice, e-postcard for small exempt organizations. That's pretty much all of our clubs. There's some clubs that, you know, have not an insignificant amount. So you click on that. And then you scroll down, submitting Form 990N, e-postcard. So we're going to submit. We're not going to actually do one here, but we're going to show you the account that I established. Okay, now you sign in. There's two sign-in methods. I think that the one that has less barriers is the first one. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to put in my email address. And I should have mentioned up front that if y'all ever have any questions, or you think I might be able to help you with something, this is my email address. And my phone number is 832-465-6365. So that's my email. You can see that up there, yes?
Gmail.org or com?
Gmail.com. Thank you, Hal. That wasn't going to work. This is why we have Hal there. And then my he's going to send me a code.
Now, use that login.gov for a lot of different things, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you use your personal one that you've already have?
I think you have to now.
Okay.
You didn't used to have to do that, and they changed it about 3 years
Yeah, because I
ago.
know everything's pretty much gone to that.
Everything
Social
is all through
Security,
the same,
you know,
so,
all that stuff.
but it is interesting, if you don't click on where he just showed you, it won't bring up this screen.
Okay.
It'll just bring up your own
My
IRS
personal
screen.
stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, you can, you know, look, I mean, you know, we're not in, you know, this all the time. And so
No.
you kind of, it's not top of mind, let me just say it
Yeah,
that way.
But I know from like Medicare and
Yeah, yeah.
IRS,
Right.
you know, pretty much everything you do, you use that account. I don't want to mix it with the club. That's
No, I would, and so this is what you get. You get your manager, your e-postcard profile, and then manage submissions. And so I'm going to click on this just to show you what. So these are the clubs
so you set up what club?
that I've set up and that I filed the 990Ns for. Yes.
This is a question because I want to start doing our
Yeah, yeah.
990s, so you don't have to. If I sign up our club in my profile, it doesn't matter that you've got it signed up too?
No.
Just as long as we don't both
Yeah,
do a
just as long as we don't file,
Okay.
both file. I think that's
you just can't see history.
that's
that's fine, yeah.
that's
You won't
correct.
be able to see any
He
history.
sends it to me when he files it, so
That's right.
I have history.
Jennifer.
Could you use a non-personal email? Like if your club has an email account, could you use that and the treasurer be able to see the history every time if they use that? Or does it have to be a personal email account that you put in there?
I don't know if that .gov ID would let you do that.
Or not?
Yeah, I don't know why you couldn't. You know,
No, to get your account set up, it wants your social
Social Security and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can maybe use an EIN.
And-
Let you use your tax
And the
ID.
EIN
Won't work.
EIN from the club won't work.
Okay.
I think I tried that.
yeah. So then the other kind of section is manage your submissions, and so you can see after you complete it, then you answer like the questions. You know, are your receipts generally less than $50,000? Yes. Do you have assets less than 250? Yes. You give some demo. There's like 8 questions. It's on that Bob Campney 4-pager, and it's on the IRS website as well. It will. You come back in, and what it'll say here on the filing, it'll say in progress or something like that, and then it'll be accepted. It'll take about 2 or 3 minutes for it to be accepted. You submit it, wait about 2 or 3 minutes, go back in, accepted. And so this is what it looks like. Hal, do you know what your club's tax ID number is?
No, off the top of my
Yeah, I
head.
don't either. Well, let's just click on one for it. So this one generically went by Serra International. So, the clubs that are under the umbrella of the group exemption, the Serra International, they just go by, some cases, Serra International, although they have a unique taxpayer ID number. Yeah. So anyways, I thought I may just take a second and drill in. But
So if they're under the same, do they have the same EIN number then?
no, they're all different.
Oh, they just go by that.
Yeah.
They have their own
So
EIN.
it's the group exemption number is I believe is 1059. That's the group. And then underneath the group are all the EINs. So when we charter a new club, we get an EIN and it falls under the group exemption. So you don't have to go through a process of filing for tax exempt status
Want to pick it,
for each club.
or does it matter?
So are all clubs underneath that?
Not all of them.
I'm
Not
not.
necessarily.
The vast majority are.
So how did you get?
I don't know. It was
Before your time.
Before my time.
you know,
I mean, I'm looking at my 1099 right now, and it's Serra Club of Colorado Springs, and it's
Yeah, but
got
you
that
still fall
We start
under
with
the
7-6.
exemption.
We're 7-6.
You still fall under the exemption of it.
Go
I don't know how I know that.
You wouldn't.
Yeah,
I mean, we put Serra Club of
840.
Phoenix on that, but that's
Oh.
irrelevant. We just, we haven't.
they must also be Serra International because we're under it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, that's my club right there.
I'm sorry, I lost the
Interesting.
discussion there.
I was just saying that we have a separate EIN number,
Yeah.
We have,
but we for organizational name, we put Serra Club of Phoenix.
Yeah, which is fine.
and ours says, Serra Club of North Houston, but for the IRS is concerned, it comes up as Serra International because we're under Serra International.
We are too, but I don't know.
In here, it would probably show as Serra.
So I just clicked on create new filing and you just select the number.
So it brings up the ones that you've already set up as.
And look what it says. You've already filed the Form 990 in. So, I'd have to find a December 31st year end here, and we could, in real time here, we could
see.
go ahead and file it. We're not gonna bore you with that today.
Probably aren't many, I guess.
No, there's not. But I did file some December 31st year ends. Okay, let's see, okay, I think this is where we left off.
Yeah.
You'll have that guidance in the supporting documentations. You have my email and my phone number. You miss filing for 3 consecutive years, your tax exempt status is revoked. Just as a point of information, this is probably TMI. There's 2 ways to regain tax exempt status. One, on a prospective basis through the filing of a Form 1023 streamlined version. You basically have to just answer some questions, create an account, pay $275, and your tax exempt status will be good on the date you file to have it reinstated forward. Or you can have it reinstated on a retrospective basis. That's a more involved process. It's just a regular old Form 1023. There's a $600 fee. You've got to go back and file returns for 3 consecutive years. You've got to submit budgets. It's if you want to get your donors out from underneath the possibility that they may have had some donations that might be at risk, you go the retrospective route. So if you have a club that you know of that wants to, make it, want some help here, I'd be more than happy to help out. Let me just say that.
As long as the IRS doesn't change their filing dates in the middle of the
Oh
process.
my goodness, yeah, Hal. I mean, we were we went through IRS.
Went through 3 years of this.
Yeah, they changed the year end on us by mistake, said we didn't file the form after we regained our tax exempt status.
Because we were filing with the year end May 31st.
May
and they
31st.
told us we didn't file any returns
Somebody
for the year.
at the
ending
IRS
December
changed the
31st.
tax year end to December 31st. And so, but we
I have just a question about that. Maybe some of the rest of you know. We are also on May 31st, and that seemed terribly odd to me. So I report to our board, July 30th,
Yeah.
but I report to the IRS May 31. Why were we set up with May 31?
Why do you report to the board July 30th?
I do it on a monthly basis, semi-annual. That's the end of our fiscal year. But
Okay.
for the IRS purposes, the end of our fiscal year is May 31st.
We do May 31st
For
for
everything.
reporting for.
Yeah, I was so unused to that.
John, I don't know, I don't know why that is, but they're mostly May 31st. I'm gonna say 75% of, in this file that I referenced.
Because our board
are May
changes
31st.
June 1st.
Yeah, ours does
Also,
July 1, so I do everything on.
The only thing that complicates for me is my collection and payment of dues is out of sync.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, exactly.
Serra dues are January 1st and in the middle of the year, right? So.
Well, here's another disconnect that we talked about a few times is our budgets for USA and Serra National
Calendar
on a calendar year, but the officers take office
mid-year.
July 1st.
Right.
And so, you've got the situation where, this is Dr. Ann Rotes last year. So the first 6 months,
She could spend like a drunken sailor, and then the other person has to come
and
in.
then Colonel comes in second half. So, I'm sure there's a way to get that squared away a little bit better. But we're not gonna do
I
any
know.
brain damage on that today. Sales tax exemption, varies by state.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
the foundation, actually, it's the calendar year.
Yeah.
It's not,
Is that right?
so like, I left the foundation as an officer on December 31st, not the middle of the year.
There's people smarter than me that can get the problem. All synced up. Probably not worth the effort though.
Probably not.
Yeah, not worth it.
But
Yeah,
here,
so everybody else is changing office, new presidents, but not the foundation,
yeah,
December 31st,
well,
they change,
we, keeps our minds active, doesn't it?
That's right.
yeah.
We can save some sales tax. It varies by state. I know that, I set it up for House Club, so that we could, be exempt from sales tax. You gotta provide that proof when you make purchases, to get the break, but it does vary by state.
The other thing you can do, if your pastor allows it, if you have a primary parish or a single parish, is you can use their tax exempt.
And that's a creative idea that Dr. Ann Rote uses in that last bullet. She uses a diocese. I don't know, I'm not recommending anything here on that front, but, whatever.
Actually, that's where all of our mail goes, is to the diocese.
Is that right?
It does,
Yes. All of our mail goes to the diocese, and the bishop's secretary knows me, and she has a cubby that anything addressed to Serra Club goes in the little mailbox, and I go down periodically to the bishop's office and pick it up.
why?
From a transition perspective,
So we don't have to pay for a PO
that
box,
actually-
and I don't want to use
Jerry-
my personal address.
that makes,
I use
that
mine.
actually works very well. Our correspondence goes to Christ the Good Shepherd Church.
Which is our
Now-
90%.
And so then, when you've got transition, new treasurer, president, everything keeps going to the same place. What I found out in this whole thing with the IRS is our treasurer, trying to do the right thing, updated the address and had the mail going to their home address.
They're home.
And then they moved. And only found that out when I was trying to get things.
Not me.
It wasn't happening.
Wasn't.
This is a free house. So,
You were thinking about it.
It'd be a lot better if it came to my house. No, I didn't do that.
Well, I don't live very close to the Chancery, so I wouldn't like that idea. I send it to my P.O. box. Everything goes to my P.O. box, not to my home address.
Now,
But I pay for the P.O. box,
that's
but not
terrific.
not just for Sarah, for
Mhm.
everything.
Other things.
Yeah, continuity, for continuity purposes. I
Continuity.
kind of like the diocese idea, or maybe the parish idea. But, you know, if there's turnover, transition, then you need to make sure those things are updated. Otherwise, there's gonna be
I just don't want
disconnects.
to spill my.
Well, the advantage is the very important person in the bishop's office
There you go.
knows Serra Club very well.
It's good.
Ours is too far away.
That's what I just said, yeah. I don't want to.
Ours is a 45-minute drive, nothing.
We're coming up on an hour, so, this is a slide, association versus corporation. We're recommending association. I'm not sure exactly why. Versus corporation, unless the state, so typically, you know, you've got to be, if you're not an association or corporation, you're probably gonna have to do something in the state, to be recognized as an entity, as a corporation, and that's, I'm not really too much up to speed on this.
You have to file a report, an annual report with the state, even if it says essentially not much, you know, no income, or no net income.
So that's why we're recommending association, I think, is you get out of the way of that reporting requirement. Liability insurance, do y'all, any of you, does this apply to any of y'all where, you know, somebody wanted you to provide a certificate?
Yeah,
It did.
I've had to do it.
Okay, and so you get it from,
It's from the office.
yeah, okay, well, that's,
It's not always real quick to come out, but so I would advise doing it well in advance.
Process.
Yeah, so I'd advise doing it well in advance. We've done it for events, even if we weren't specifically asked for it, just in case, you know, because again, you have to do it well in advance.
Our diocese requires us to provide it.
good. All right.
Sometimes the church does if you're using a hall in the church.
Yeah, just whole umbrella with us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the Serra
Especially in alcohol.
US
Wine.
website here in a
That's a whole
second.
nother discussion.
Collections discussion.
Does Sarah US has liability insurance?
Yes.
And does the paper you get from them document the church you meet at as
It
the,
documents the place you're meeting
it documents the place you're meeting? Okay,
and
good.
the date, if it's a specific date,
Okay.
and it says your club name. It has your club
Yeah,
name.
I have that for another organization that I'm treasurer of, and yes, we have our own insurance policy. But I've never had to do it, I've never had to
Yeah.
get something for Sarah.
If you don't have to, great. What's that?
Is it extra cost for
No.
the club? So it,
Costs nothing for the club or the event.
Okay.
But again, if you're gonna do it, don't do it 2 weeks out or a month out. I would do it 2 or 3 months out.
This is the Serra US org, website, and then their club resources. Frequently requested, if you scroll way down,
Way down to the bottom.
way down. Yeah, some club treasurer stuff. A manual.
Yeah, the manual is where I was saying there was, I haven't looked at this 2025 update. Maybe you updated a little bit, had the sample letter for donation.
Yeah, we updated that in August of this year.
Okay, I don't think I've looked at it.
Although it says draft, it was actually updated.
Could you show me where you found that again?
That was Serra USA. Let me go back.
Under
I think that's
resources.
where I am.
Resources at the top, drop
Yeah,
down.
club resources. And then Jerry, you gotta, it's like anything in life, it's the last place you look where you find it, which could have been the first place. But it is kind of towards the bottom.
So think backwards. Is that what you're saying?
Figure out where I
Think
am.
from last to first.
Go to the bottom of this page is what I'm saying. It's kind of towards the
Okay.
bottom. And I think the certificate or whatever is somewhere to be found here. Let's see. This is a treasurer manual, which is actually not bad.
Pretty good.
There's a position description, resources available. There's the event liability insurance.
Yep.
You were talking about,
Yep.
Al.
Yep.
This position description is just kind of what we just covered. We just drilled in, I mean, this is pretty much just covered everything we just went over. Yeah, here's the, says it is available via an application form at the US Council site.
Yeah, and I think that link brings you directly to the form.
Yeah, so, but this is a Word document, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I'm running long on time, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Let me go back to the presentation. I mean, I'm here as long as y'all want to be here. This is my job for the next couple of years. Okay, these forms on this page, they can pretty much be found in that treasurer manual that I just left. And this just is a summary of the top 10 things. And you'll notice that number 1 and 2 are repeated as number 9 and 10. And so,
Because they're so important.
they're so important.
Because you have to do it twice a year.
Yeah. Very
Interesting. Well, that was,
select.
That's a good reason too.
that's, yeah, maybe that's it. That's
He
it.
wants to have 10 things. Come on.
That's right.
And this is a treasurer's prayer. So let us pray this together. Lord Jesus Christ, grant me the grace to be a good steward of my club's financial resources, patient and understanding, yet persistent in collecting from others.
Timely and accurate in making deposits and paying approved expenses.
Helpful
Helpful financial guidance to make the future club events successful. Gracious in accepting financial gifts to our club. And joy filled by the knowledge that my work, especially the most tedious and detailed, is indispensable to the success of my club in achieving certain mission. Amen.
That's Mike Downey's. I think he put that prayer together.
Based on that, I gotta confess, I'm not very timely on making deposits. And